Okay, B'siyat Tishmai, I hope to finish now the Hakdama to the Tanya. We started yesterday. I hope to try and finish now. We're starting with the paragraph Ach, just to remind the Olam where we were holding. So we basically said that the Balatanya explained to us that reading a Musa Sefer is completely different to hearing it from a Rebbe, hearing it from a Rebbe, for two main reasons. Number one, when you read a Musa Sefer, you're only going to understand it according to your intellectual capabilities, which are often limited. Number two, you need to find your specific derech and avodas Hashem. That how do we know that that sefer will pinpoint exactly what you need in your personal avodah? So those are the two reasons why the Balatanya said that you shouldn't really learn, because there's no point learning a Musa sefer inside a sefer. Which we now have to understand why he said that, because he wrote a sefer, which is deep Musa, and he's just told us that there's no point. So let's understand it. Ach, and that's what we're holding by the paragraph beginning with the word Ach. B'yoidai umakirei kameina. Those people that know me, those people that understand me, I'm writing to the people that recognize me. Be'ikad, his community, his Hasidim. By the way, there's a Kabbalah from the Hasidim that anyone that learns the Sefer Hatanya, anyone that learns this Sefer, the Balatanya knew who you were. So he's talking to you. So this, when he writes, I'm writing to the Olam, he means he's talking specifically to anyone that was learning the Balatanya. Heim, kol echad ve'echad ma'anash shebedinasenu usmuchay shela shahoya adiba shel chiba motzu beinenu vegilu lefona kol ta'alumos libo v'moicha ba'avodas Hashem atlu belev. He's writing that I'm makir, I recognize all my Hasidim, I know the people, I know what they're looking for, I know what they're trying to figure out. Aleihem, to each and every one of them. Titov milosi, uleshoni eight sofer bekuntras edu. The original Sefer Tanya was not written in a sefer form. It was always like a parsha sheet. You know, sometimes you come into the shul and you get like a parsha sheet. So this parsha sheet was called, Nikroim, what he says, b'shem lekutei emorim. It was called like a parsha sheet called lekutei emorim, and every single week he would put it out, once a month, whatever it was. And it was like, you know, all nice, interesting things about Chassidus and interesting things about Musa, whatever it was. It was never in a sefer form. Melukotim b'pi sfarim and b'pi seifim. We explained that right in the beginning. That means this is from sfarim u'seifim. Sfarim being the Shla Kudush and the Maral be'ika, and the seifim is the Mezrich Magid, and Pashtus also the Baal Shem Tov. It's also put that maybe in the Zohar Kodesh also. Kedoshe Elyon Nishmoson Eden and Refusim Etzleinu. Uktsas mem nirmosim lachakimin. Many of the things that are written in Sefer Tanya were merames, they were hinted in a letter that the Talmidim of the Mezrich Magid, when they came to Eretz Yisrael, and they came and they dispersed all over the place over there in order to go and be Mimadrech Klal Yisrael, many of the things are mentioned in the Sefer Tanya. And some of the things as well, I heard from my Rebbeim, from their own mouths as well, and they're written over here. Now, this is the crunch, Rabbi Say. It's some of my favorite lines in Tanya, right over here. V'kulam, everything that you're going to find in this Sefer, hein tshuvois al she'elois rabbis, are the answers to the many questions asher shoilim be'etza kol anash debindinoseinu tomid, of the questions that people came in b'yechidus, they asked about Tanya Shailas. People used to come to ask the Rebbe what to do, eitzes, advice, all sorts of things. All of the Shailas that anyone ever asked, the answers are right here in this Sefer. Kol echad lefi erkai. And each person will be able to derive from this Sefer exactly what he needs in his Avodas Hashem. Loshis eitzos benafsham ba'avodas Hashem. An unbelievable statement. What he just told us is, even though you shouldn't learn Moshe Sfarim because you're not going to get from it so much and you're not going to get your personal Avodah, Zug the Heilige Balatanya, I know who you are. I know what you need. I know all the shilas that people are asking. And in this sefer is going to be every answer to every shaila that you will ever have in your entire lifetime. That is an unbelievable statement. And it's your personal avodah. Liyos. Why did he do this? I don't have the time. You have to understand, he was living in Russia. He was one of the biggest biggest Rabbonim. He was one of the biggest Rebbes that existed at the time. Hundreds of thousands, people were coming to him all the day long. He didn't have the time. So because he doesn't have time to deal with each and every person on a personal level, v'gam, and another reason, hashichacha mutsuya, even if I do have enough time, but if I say people forget what I tell them, al kain, because of all that, reshamti kol hatshuvois, unbelievable, kol hatshuvois. Remember, we said this yesterday from the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh. You can medayek in every word. Al kain reshamti kol hatshuvois, every answer, al kol hasheilas, and every shaila, l'mishmeres la'ois, lihi yois, kol echad v'echad l'zikarim be'enov, it's always going to be constantly in front of you. You will no longer have to come over b'yechidus. By learning Sefer Tanya, you are having a yechidus with the Baal Tanya. It's the most unbelievable experience. You're literally hearing advice from the Baal Tanya. That's what's going on. You're learning with the Baal Tanya, you're hearing advice from the Baal Tanya, and as we spoke about previously from the Tzaddikim, the Baal Tanya is talking to you specifically in your avodah. So this is a very unique Sefer, which we don't find in any other Musar Sefer that exists. Such a metzias, where the author is talking to you specifically, and you will gain from it what you need in your personal avodah Hashem. Unbelievable. Any chassid will be able to find, and again, any chassid doesn't mean chassidish. Any human being, any yid, will be able to find from this sefer. Anyone that's maimin in the Baal Tanya, anyone that's maimin in the tzaddikim will be able to derive from the tzaddikim. Will be able to get what he needs in his personal avodas Hashem. A person has to also accompany tremendous amount of betochen in Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help him in his avodas Hashem to gain whatever he needs in that specific area. Or let's say you learn the Tanya, and you're like, okay, but I don't find the answer. I'm stuck. I still have a gasha. He didn't answer me. Then you first right? In other words, if you're not saying to find it, go to the Rabbonim in town, ask them to figure it out. Ask them to help you how in the Tanya you're going to find the answer to your gasha. And I'm asking, please, from those Rabbonim, if somebody comes over to you and says, no, what's this pshat? Don't say, I don't know, I don't understand, what do you want from me? I'm not holding there, who am I to learn the Tanya? Don't do that. We all know the punishment of a person that withholds Torah from someone who wants to know the Torah. Right, the Gemara in Sanhedrin, Sadi Aleph on a base, tells us that if a person a Talmud wants to learn, and the Rebbe doesn't want to teach him, doesn't want to give him what he wants, then the Gemara says that even the fetus in a mother's stomach will curse him. As I state in the Gemara in Sanhedrin, Dav Sadi Aleph. Goydel haschar, and great is the schar of someone that does teach others. Or Pnei Melech Chaim, tremendous reward if the Rabbanim will help people to gain what they need from this sefer. Chaim is akenu v'yachnenu liyomim asher lo yilamdu oid ish esre'eu ki kulam yedu oisi ki molo ha'oretz de'as Hashem omein kein yehi ratzon. So this was the letter, as I said right in the beginning. This was the letter that was sent 1792 in Russia from the Heilige Baal Tanya to all his Hasidim, what he is intending to do. Don't come and see me. Don't run to find me. I'm going to write a sefer that you will be able to find everything that you need in your Yiddishkeit, in your Avodas Hashem, in this very sefer. So Rabbi said, before we continue, and the continuation, we're going to go quickly because it's really about the copyright, but just to understand, we're about to embark on a journey that will teach us, according to what the Baal Tanya says, everything we need to know about ourselves and our Avodas Hashem in an individual manner. Not something we have to apply it. And again, if you don't know how to apply it, you go to the Rabbanim, and the Rabbanim will help you. Let's continue. And again, like I said, most of this now is more of the copywriting. Vihine, but again, it's the words of the Heilige Baal Tanya, so we have to learn it. He's explaining why he put it to writing, why it became a sefer as opposed to the parasha sheets, which originally I told you he wrote about. Vihine, acha shenisbashru hakuntresim. Haniskorm le'el bekerev kol anash haniskorm le'el ba'atokos rabos midei soifim shoinim umushunim hine alidei riboy ha'atokos shoinos rabu kumei rabba atuais soifim b'ma'oid ma'oid. The problem was when it went out, people started adding things, people started correcting things, there started to become, people made corrections in there which were not his words, and he wasn't happy about that. So once it started getting distributed in an informal manner, there were problems, and he didn't want that. The Baal Tanya wanted every word to be exact and every word to be his. And therefore, Ula Zois, in order to figure that out and to make sure that doesn't happen and prevent it, Nod Verucham Shel Anoshim Efrasim, and a Kuvim and Iskom Le'el Me'evel Adaf, right? The names of the people you look, for example, in the previous stuff, which is the Askomas Tebeis Tanya, which is the Heilige Rebbe Zisha, talks all about it as well. Litroy in his Askoma, Litroyach Begufam, Oidum Lahavel Esa Kuntresim, and Iskom Le'el Beis Atfus, Menukim Mikol Sig, and therefore I made the olam, they should spend money to print these contrasim into a sefer to make sure that we prevent any future mistakes. Tova Yishar Chela, and I say Gavaldik, Yasha Koyach, to those people that are printing it. Velias Kimik Moladiba Kos of Oru Masik Vulve EU, Oru Boy Klola Boy Nidoy, Chas Veshalom Al Kain, Yuda Boy Likra, Ka Asaina. למשתי גודו רבה על כל המתביסים שלא ידעת וסקונטרייסים מסקון לאל לא ילידי עצמם ולא ילידי גרו דלהיים בלתי רשוס הנויק ומסקון לאל משך 5 שנים מיום קלוס התפוס. That means I give no permission for anyone to print the Tanya for 5 years after this edition goes out, because once he knew that the first edition went out and it got spread everywhere, widespread, then he wasn't so worried about mistakes anymore, which is why of course nowadays you can print Tanyas anywhere, and people do that in every single place that they go to. They print Tanya, Tzagan, Samaisa, V'shem Yunum Tov Aleim Berchos Tov, and his Gorim now once again doesn't put his name. Tzaddikim tell us that he was in such a novel, such humility, didn't want to attribute anything to himself, didn't want anyone to think it was Dafka Chabad Torah. This is Torah for all of Klal Yisrael. This is Torah for anyone that wants to gain from the Baal Tanya. You can literally be having a yechidus with the Baal Tanya when you learn Sefer Tanya. Join us next time, Sunday, B'siyata Dishmaya. We're going to be starting Perek Aleph. Join us for Tanya B'siyata Dishmaya. Shkoyach.